On this episode of the podcast, I'm going to share some secrets for success for you as you're looking to get organized in 2024. Are you ready? Let's go.
You're listening to the Decluttering Club podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Mueller, and it's my mission to equip women to declutter their homes, their time, and their lives so that they can cherish what truly matters.
Quick note before you dive into this episode. In this episode, I share the number of people that have gone through our challenge with us, and I wasn't quite sure about the exact number. Well, after I recorded this, the team and I dove into the numbers, and we determined that it wasn't just about 10,000 people that had done the challenge, but we have actually served over 70,000 people with the Organize Like a Boss challenge. So I just wanted to make a little correction there. A lot of people, and we'd love to have you join us. Okay, on to the show. You are listening to the Decluttering Club podcast, episode number 33. Today, we're going to talk about how to get organized in 2024. Oh my gosh, I can hardly believe that I'm saying the words 2024. That sounds like somewhere off in the future. Like it certainly isn't right around the corner, is it? But in fact, it is, as you all know. And this is the world we're living in. Like time just goes so fast, doesn't it? I just can't get over how quickly time is moving. It feels like I just can't keep up. And I'm trying so hard to really hold on and enjoy all of the moments. Right. And is this what happens when we have clutter? Right? Isn't this what happens? We are trying so hard to preserve the past. And we're also trying to figure out how to prepare for the future. The danger is there, and these are good things, right? This is absolutely good things, but the danger is that we miss out on the present. So just make sure that you're not missing out on the present and that you are aware that time is moving, whether you want it to or not, right? This is something that we forget. I think we think we are invincible and we're never going to have a day when we're out of time for whatever reason, for lots of reasons. Okay. So keep that in mind as you are thinking about your home, about your decluttering work, and about getting organized. But for right now, I want to talk about the challenge that we have coming up in January and how you can get organized with me in 2024. So we have run this challenge many times over the past years. We've had thousands and thousands. I think we're probably up to at least 10,000 people by now. It's probably way more. I don't even know what the number is. We have helped thousands and thousands of people to organize their homes using these very specific principles. The way that we set it up, we walk you through, we step you through the process of organizing and learning different techniques. And when you learn these techniques, then you can put them together. And it's a little bit like a puzzle, right? And so you learn how we like to use containers and the do's and don'ts of containers. And then you learn, I'm not going to spoil, no spoilers in this podcast. You learn the different ways that you have available to you to organize any space. And then what happens is that you can combine them. And you look at a space in your home. Maybe you're looking at, your lotions and potions in the bathroom. And you think, how can I make this space more organized? Now, of course, you're going to want to do some decluttering. Right? And we're going to walk you through that as well. And then you're going to say, oh, I remember I can use this idea from the challenge. I can use this idea and maybe a little bit of this one. And before you know it, you have taken what felt like a very disorganized mess and you have turned it into something beautiful and organized and under control and neat and tidy. And it's such a cool thing. Okay. This is a little bit like, the way that we teach organizing is a little bit like, let's say, learning to read. Okay. The good news is it doesn't take nearly that long. But it's like learning to read. So I will teach you a technique and then you will practice it. It's just like learning how to read 3-letter words, right? When you start learning to read, most kids, they learn to read the word cat and then they learn to read the word I, right? And then they learn to read the word like, right? I like the cat, right? And then they can put things together. And before you know it, they're reading sentences. This is the way our challenge works. We teach you one tool, one principle, one idea at a time. And then you get to combine them and create something that is unique to you and to your home and to your needs. Okay. So that is a little bit of an insight into how our challenge works. But I also want to give you some information, some background on if you do want to get organized in 2024, what are some things that you need to have in place? Okay. And I don't mean you need to go out and buy stuff. Like that's not what this is about. Most people don't have to buy anything in order to organize their home. This is not the chance to go and buy a bunch of stuff, right? You've probably tried that before, and you probably know people who have tried that, and they just come home with a bunch of stuff. They go and spend hundreds of dollars or more on containers and labels and this and that, and making things look pretty, but they don't know how to use them. Right. So we don't want this to happen to you. We want you to have the tools and then you can go buy all the organizing and storage solutions. And that's going to be amazing. Okay. So here are some of the things that are going to be super helpful for you as you prepare to be organized. All right. I want to share a story with you from one of the women who went through our challenge. Her name is Melanie, and she shared some words of wisdom that really encompass one of the things that's super helpful when you are looking to get organized and when you're dealing with a very overwhelming situation. Okay, so this is what Melanie had to say. She said, completed my very first OLAB and loved it. By the way, OLAB is the name of our challenge. It stands for Organize Like a Boss. OLAB for short. Okay. She said, I found the little wins are amazing and just what I needed because that actually makes me want to do more. Oh my gosh, mindset can be a game changer. I would look around in the past and be so overwhelmed and never had the time or energy to clean it all at once. So then I just wouldn't do anything. The clutter didn't happen overnight. And so my aim is little wins, and I'm so much kinder to myself. So I have to share a big win with you all. I have been doing awesome for the last few weeks because of OLAB, and I'm very happy with my main floor. Last night, I went to dinner to meet about 10 high school friends after not seeing them for 30 years. We all had dinner. The restaurant closed. Everyone said they weren't ready to go home. Um, and so I invited everyone back to my house because it was very presentable and not cluttered. And we had the best time. Being able to invite people over at the last minute was a huge win for me. Sorry for the long post, but had to share. Amazing, amazing. And so this is the kind of thing that you want to put yourself in this kind of a mindset when you're getting ready to organize. Okay. Melanie has the right mindset, right? And she didn't always, right? I love how she talked about how in the past she would look around and there was so much clutter that she just wouldn't do anything. But then she joined our challenge, and because she was open and because she was like willing to get some support, she was able to hear what I had to say and work with our community. And then she found that there was a much better way to do things. Right? So often it's not because you're not trying hard enough. You all are trying hard. I know it. Right? This is not for lack of efforts. It's not because you don't want it. But sometimes you just need the right support. And so you want to make sure that you are open to support and that you are, ready for it when it's available to you and that you're willing to take action based on that support. So it's really, really important. You want to make sure that you're open to support and then you're ready to act on it because the truth is so many people try to do this on their own and then they crash and burn and they get very frustrated and they wonder why things are so hard. And what Melanie discovered was it doesn't have to be that way. So fun, right? Oh my gosh, so fun. Okay. All right. The next story I want to share is from Linda. And she said, I have literally been trying to get this done for a year. A year. Can you guys relate to that? Oh my gosh. She says, I have enormous unseen internal resistance to get started. The OLAB challenge and the buddy system was needed to push me to get started. This took longer than 10 minutes, but I'm thrilled to have completed this task. It's a win. All right. And she had shared a picture of her laundry room, and there was all this stuff on the counter. And then she used her time during OLAB to organize and clean up and declutter. Right. So this is the thing, right? Like it's going to take time. You're going to need to set aside time to do the challenge. You're going to need to set aside a little bit of time to watch the videos. The videos are about 10 minutes each. one a day for 5 days, right? So you do need to invest some time. The thing is, you've probably been like going through time, and Linda had been trying to do this for a year. And so all of a sudden, eventually she said, you know what? Now is the time. And she made it happen, right? That year is going to go by whether or not you spend a little bit of it organizing, right? Either way, we're all going to land in 2024 here in a couple of weeks, right? And so the time is passing, and so it's up to us to take advantage of it and to realize and remember that like we can't get that time back. And so I love how Linda took advantage, right? And realized like now is the time for me to do something. And maybe it's not the ideal time. Maybe there are other things that feel really important. And it's so easy to procrastinate, right? It's so easy. But Linda didn't do that. And this is what I want to offer to you too. You all are action takers. I can tell because you're listening to this podcast, right? The people who are in our community, they take action, right? They don't sit around waiting for things to just happen. They don't sit around complaining about their homes. Have you ever noticed how there's some people that all they do is just complain, right? And they never actually want to do anything about it. Complaining, sometimes it kind of feels good, right? In a little bit of a weird way, but it doesn't get you where you want to go. And I have noticed over and over and over again that the people in our community, they're not complainers. They're taking action. They're learning. They're getting support. They're trying things. They're doing the work and putting in the time. And then they're reaping the rewards. And that is such a beautiful thing. And now I just want to share one more little story from Jasmine, who also did our challenge. And this was really going to show you how we work with people. So Jasmine said, I just wanted to say how valuable I'm finding these lessons broken down to make sense for me. Easy to understand, and just tackling one area makes it seem manageable. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. The way that we work, the way that we operate is in a way that's going to make it easy for you to make progress. So many people think, I've got to do the whole thing. I've got all this work to do. It should have been done yesterday, right? Or it should have been done last year. And so now they feel this tremendous pressure to do it like ASAP. And that causes people to freeze up and then they panic. And then typically their fight or flight response or their freeze response kicks in. And they don't do anything. Okay. And so we don't want to work that way. That is not an effective way to work for most people, at least people that I work with. It's not effective. Right. So we're going to set that aside, even if that is your instinct. And we want to show you a different way, right? We want to show you how to break things down because the truth is you can only make progress, right? You can only climb that mountain one step at a time. You've got to put one foot in front of the other. And what happens is when you do put one foot in front of the other over and over and over again, before you know it, you've actually made some progress. And sometimes it sneaks up on you, which is pretty fun, right? But you have to be willing to take those baby steps in order to make the big leaps, to get the big progress. The big wins are made up of baby steps. And we will show you how to break any organizing mess, any organizing um, chaos or frustration that you are dealing with. We'll show you how to break it down into little tiny pieces and you can even take action in 5 to 10 minutes at a time. When you join the challenge, and by the way, registration is open as of the day that we're releasing this podcast. When you join the challenge, we're going to start you off with what we call micro wins. And micro wins are the best because you don't need to set aside any time for a micro win. You could probably do them immediately. All you need is, a little bit of an idea. And then again, the willingness to take action and the willingness to not put it off until later. These things are so critical. Okay. So I want to make sure that you know about the challenge. I want to make sure that you have it on your calendar. Register. We will be sending out emails with with links to register for the Organize Like a Boss challenge. It is a blast. We always have a lot of fun. And more importantly, we get so much done and we're working and we're helping again. We want to be reaching thousands and thousands and thousands of people just like you who are ready, who are fed up waiting around. They're not wanting to complain, and they're looking for support to make their homes look and feel better. And why are we doing this? We are doing this. We are decluttering and organizing so that we have time and space for the things that matter most. And I know every one of us has something in that category. So think a little bit about what that looks like for you. Make sure you join us for the OLAB challenge, and I will see you in 2024. That's all we have for you today. If you enjoyed this podcast, would you leave us a review? It would really help us get the word out. To start your decluttering journey, go to thedeclutteringclub.com. That is declutteringclub.com. I'll see you next time.